My name's Joe Goswes. I am the coordinator for the patch, and I'm also the coordinator for urban agriculture and environmental sustainability at Hutton House. I came to the patch in a very roundabout way. It was in a playground discussion with a fellow parent at my children's school, Dr. Gabor Sass, and we were talking about places where people could gather socially. And Gabor had mentioned that he was very interested in doing a community garden and was wondering, with my background in social services, how one would apply for a grant. And I mentioned that I had a passion for transferable employment skills. I had grown up in and around farming and agriculture through my father's side of the family, and I saw an immense benefit to learn transferable employment skills for all people lacking work experience. So I came here because we decided that there was a need in our community for a social space where people could grow and gather and also learn transferable employment skills. I think when I look at this space compared to a lot of spaces, if I look at this through a social services lens, which has been my career since 1996, there's a lot of wonderful opportunities for people to gather indoors, to go for outings. But I think what is lacking is the immersiveness and the independence. And I think that when people look at gardening, they look at that they have the ability to grow something from beginning to end. So they're taking ownership over a project that they're doing. And I think that gardening is a way to both therapeutically and independently have provenance over what somebody's doing. So I think that what's been really wonderful about this space is that we're not only growing something somebody can take with them, but we're growing experience. We're growing the ability to learn about food security and to take that with you, whether you're growing on a balcony, whether you're growing in your own backyard, or whether you're growing in a community garden in your own neighborhood.
And so then the next one will be like, there is a lot of know-how that you have to do this beautiful garden that you have here. Who is the person? You are the grower here? Like, who knows when to plant stuff around?
So I wish that I was here more. I thought when we started this that I would be here. I would be here all the time with Gabor. But Gabor is here most of the time. And a big part of my role is administration, looking for grants. As you can see behind me, picking up lots of pallets. I'm the backup dump truck driver. I am the grant writer, the pallet picker-upper, the budget person. But it all, when I come here and I do those things and I see the participants growing and learning and that knowledge, I would say that the Gabor is the holder of when to plant, when to pick, but there's such a sharing of knowledge between the participants and our team, the team of the patch, in knowing what's right, even looking at how these gardens should be accessible, the angles that we actually put them together, how they would be for picking. So I would say that this space is a nest of shared knowledge.
I can see that these raised beds are accessible. Can you tell us about that story?
So I think from the onset, so the development and the design, even before we got to landscape drawings or anything else, we knew that this was going to be a place. Our tagline's urban agriculture for everyone. And, we have experience. Hutton House has been around for 70 years. And in that time, it is, we don't let struggles or challenges get in the way. We accommodate people. And that's how we find that we create inclusive community. So we knew that these garden beds were not going to be something that we were going to put in the ground. We knew that they were going to be raised beds. And then when we got the space, there were technical things that we had to figure out. And one of those things were that we couldn't go in the ground anyway. So we're on a former landfill site, and we're also on a floodplain. So we had to be respectful of those things. So we couldn't disrupt the earth, and we also had to be a certain height so that we weren't at objection with the floodplain. So the beds all are at a height that most people that utilize a wheelchair could successfully pick with them. Although I should say most people, we have every single person that has used a wheelchair has been able to pick successfully from the beds. We have 4 inches of 3/4 inch crushed rock in the bottom, so that we would be sitting up, so that our soil, if there was a catastrophic flood, the soil wouldn't go into the river. So there's that. There's a trailer to the right of me, and that trailer is because, again, we can't have a permanent shelter because we can't disrupt the earth. Even the deck that we're standing on is sitting on top of pallets. So, and I think one of the great things, we want to renew or reuse as much material as possible. So I guess one of the benefits of the pandemic was that the price of new wood went through the roof. And so we have a wonderful partner at 3M, and 3M have always been super supportive of Hutton House. So it's not every organization when you ask for 527 pallets that they're going to say yes, but 3M, one of those rare organizations, that said absolutely.
And that's what we see in the Reyes bed. There are pallets that were cut and... Oh, look at that. Do you know how many plants do you have here? Like, I can see so many diversity, and we're going to go to take the look of each one of. But when you plant a garden like this, do you put it first in paper?
So that's a wonderful question. And I will say that the team led by Gabor, when it comes to planting, I'm pretty sure that there is a timed encyclopedia in Gabor's head. And
He's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah, I can see that too.
And I would, when I run through the cycles with Gabor, he knows. And he's like, well, we need to do this then, harvest then. We can even plan a field trip where we're looking at actually doing a harvest. And he's like, well, plant it on this date and everything's ready. So we're very fortunate that we have team members that hold that knowledge, but also share that knowledge. So that knowledge, well, he may have the overall arch of, I'll bet you, to answer your question, there's got to be thousands of plants behind me. But that same knowledge, he will share on a micro scale with the participant and be able to produce a booklet for one of his workshops where the participants are able to take that home and run through cycles of growing, whether it's on their balcony, whether it's sprouting, whether it's using UV lights. So something that I think is really important about what we do is that it is, and I use this saying that this is an open patent. So what we've done here, we figured out a lot of things. We figured out how to build these beds. We figured out how to utilize space that probably wouldn't have been the first choice for agriculture. And that, I think that this is something that every neighborhood should have. Businesses that have an expanse of land should do. When new subdivisions are built, that this should be incorporated. I would hope that there is an amount of food security in our city, in our province, in our country, and in the world, where groups like the Patch didn't need to exist. That this sort of food security was held by people just simply caring for one another. And, and I invite anybody to come out and to see what we've done and to bring the notebook, sketch it out, bring the tape measure it out, and take it with your group and do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think what is really cool about this place is that the variety of people from so many different backgrounds that come here, whether we had our Little Hands Big Impact Workshop, which were children under 12 years of age, come and learn about food security, whether it's, been, 3M coming out and donating food that made its way back to the food bank, whether it's been even walking groups coming by and coming in wondering what this is, city councilors, participants of Hutton House from our volunteer programs, our employment programs, our recreation and leisure programs, the collaboration between groups like the food bank, Indwell, Arcade, Arcade, for one, loaned us their big Dutch bike so that we can use it for deliveries. We have a folding bike that we use for doing deliveries. It was a grant through the London Environmental Network. Western Fair and the Wormery have been a wonderful partner of ours. It's been, I think about our first meeting when we met with the former mayor, Ed Holder, and we explained to him why we want to do this was simply that we wanted to empower people with the skills to learn how to finish something. And he said, that's good enough for me, do it. So there has been such an interest and really above and beyond the interest that comes to this neighborhood is this neighborhood, the Kensington Village neighborhood. This is a very, very, I believe London is a very special city. This is a very special neighborhood and a very special city where the neighbors have come out and they've supported us. They've encouraged us. So we really feel that, we are a hub in a neighborhood that is a hub city of London. So it's really a special.
And that compiles and it's like a synergy.
Yeah,
it's super nice.
Supported employment of people finding key jobs. And we still, one of our programs, the awarding fund it.
We are on Cavendish Crescent in London, Ontario, and we are standing in front of the Cavendish Community. And today we are going to do a tour of the Cavendish Community Food Hub, which is part of the Patch program. It is our urban farm located in the core of the city. Welcome. So the Cavendish Community Food Hub has been built in a former storage yard that was part of the City of London. City of London last year put a fence in between and gave us a third of an acre to utilize to grow food in the City of London. We were enabled to do so through a grant from the London Community Foundation, Community Vitality Grant. It was a 2-year grant for us to start up our space. Since then, we've not only started and built most of the space, but we've been able to teach workshops as well as grow and donate 2,000 pounds of food from here.
That's amazing.
Our space is built using mainly recycled products, and that is our commitment to be an organization that is green. And also, we wanted it to be very economical so that we can set a template for other organizations that are doing so with the goal of growing food and not having to worry about the expense of proprietary infrastructure.
Can we take a look of what you guys are doing in here?
Absolutely. Please come on in. So why don't we start here? So this may look like we are just stacking a bunch of pallets to play dominoes. But what we are doing here is we're actually creating a healing garden. So the TD, Friends of the Environment, enabled us through a grant to begin and complete building a healing garden. So a healing garden for us means space to reflect, relax, and to grow your wellness. So this will be a space that will have kind of a keyhole style design. People will be able to sit, reflect, relax. There'll be a variety of different tactile services for people that would utilize different textures to relax. There will be different flowers that we will use to enable the senses to help relax. So this is a very special project that, thanks to TD Friends of the Environment, we will start growing.
I can see the setup that you really have. It's going to be a big one.
It is going to be a big
Oh, look at this. So, and when I first came, I saw these. You say they are pallets? I thought that you make these already.
These haven't been made yet. There's a variety of sizes, and I think that maybe the outside ones that stay the size, those ones have been cut down. And I know that we don't have smell-o-vision yet, but you, Luis, could smell that there is a fragrance in the air, and that is we use linseed oil to cover these so that it's non-toxic. So as we go in, we'll see that we have steel planter boxes, and we have 4 of those that were a gift from the city of London, and we have trees growing in the middle of each one from reforest.
Wow, these are super big planters. Now that I completely see them. Oh, this is so nice. Come on.
And I would say, these might be
Too much? Okay.
micro food forests that we have. Food forest in a box, perhaps.
Okay, no, yes. You have the tree. It's an out.
Trees are going to be fruit-bearing trees.
That's my thought when I see a city. Is like, why not all of the trees are edible? Or yes. And I think we're going there, like a lot going there. Yeah. I see behind you a cistern. You don't have water here, is it? You do.
I like to say this. So I know that that building off the grid is very popular right now, and we didn't build this off the grid as a fashion statement. We are just simply off the grid because it was the most economical way to do things. So we don't have water piped in. We don't have electricity. So what we do is we have our water brought in and our tank filled. This year we've had it filled since April 28th. We've had it filled 3 times. We'll probably have it filled 2 more times. And we're looking at partnering with the University of Western Ontario to help us enable the ability to collect rainwater for next year. We're looking at some options, and we have a strong partnership with the university. Take our ideas, make them.
It's amazing to hear you guys are doing this partnership with somebody who has. Well, you have to have the engineering part also. Like
We need engineers. There are designers and engineers are an equal part of any successful equation for creating something.
oh yeah, I can see here that the designers are doing like a super nice job. Let's continue with this tour. So you're working with compost here. You are producing compost here or no?
These carefully stacked containers are, we rescued them. They were going to be cast aside by a local mall, and they were kind enough to give those to us. So we're going to grow in those.
No way.
Yes.
You're going to compost in the compost bins?
We're going to grow in the compost bins. And
Okay, they look, yeah, I was wondering, like, they look so nice. Okay.
yes. And this is our 3/4 inch gravel that is at the bottom of each bed.
Okay, correct. So it also is amazing because you have awesome drainage and it helps you wherever if you have a flood, it's not going to take your soil out of there. Amazing idea.
Our team includes our paid staff and our wonderful volunteers. That's all of this space was created with a lot of hard work and a lot of smiles. So we're very fortunate. Maybe a couple.
A couple. Well, you know what? It could be happy tears.
They were happy too.
Okay. How many of these beds do you have? You have so many.
Well, okay. We have 15 of these. And then as we walk around, we'll see that the whole space is lined with more beds. And we have our compost.
Oh, here's where the magic happens.
So what I like to say is that this compost is, so compost is one of the ultimate recycled products. But this compost that we get through a wonderful partnership with the Wormery in London is maybe the B or C grade compost. So what we have to do, and the Wormery are kind enough to drop this off to us, and they have been a massive supporter with the Western Fair District. All we have to do is just pick there's some plastics and things like that are in this B grade. So they can't sell this. So we are recycling it.
Oh, it feels amazing.
And it's a beautiful product. Yeah. And then we have our own.
Oh, so you are doing your own? Okay, okay, okay. So this was your harvest, that the reminders, like whatever was left after your harvest.
Absolutely. And I always like to tell people this. So we also run a leaf rescue here. So our team go around and collect some of the bagged leaves in the neighborhood, because we use those to when we put the beds away for the winter, and we lay our leaves on top of the beds. So the leaves in the Kensington Village neighborhood, a lot of them come here and they are utilized to put the beds down. 15 accessible beds, but then we also have our beds that are part of one larger single unit. Making our corn, which is a new veggie that we're growing this year.
Well, I love corn, not because I love so much the ear, but the amount of biomass that produces. Like my compost pile, I just love to have the corn coming around, because it's so nice for the compost pile. And yes, come on, grabbing an ear and just put it in the oven and eat it is the best thing that you can do. Okay,
First sunflower of the season.
and I can see there's already pollinators working their magic. Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. Okay, this structure that you are under, that looks amazing.
So these trellises that we built, they serve purposes. They will allow veggies to grow up them, but they also allow this, although this is an immensely purposeful space, this is also participants that come here, volunteers that come here, guests in general that come here. This is a beautiful space to come to. And a big part of horticulture and agriculture is the therapeutic component. So we really wanted to empower people through the concepts of horticulture therapy. And one of those concepts is the ability to find wellness, peace, happiness,
Because super processed food is super cheap, that's the thing. But when you have access to these community spaces and you can put a little bit of green in your body, you feel it. And it's therapeutic. Like it's a medicine, absolutely.
see, there are places like this where it's actually transformed the way the land was. And then when you see places like Detroit, where it's actually, Detroit for a long time was a very manufacturing heavy city, and that city itself needed to be healed. And I think that things like, active transportation, urban agriculture are helping reframe that city and giving the city back to the people. I really love to show these off because although everything in here is accessible, these gardens were specifically designed for somebody that utilizes a wheelchair. They can wheel, get their hands dirty, and grow. And you can see that they work quite well. They use wicking systems, so water, of course, rain, and we can water from the top. But these beds get filled with water. There's a dipstick to check it, like you would check fluids in an automobile.
Okay.
And there's nylon rope in there that.
Okay, this is super inspiring. And I can see now what you meant by all of the perimeter doing one big raised bed around.
We may be the number one geotextile purchaser in the urban ag sector in London.
I can see all of your gardens aligned with that. Okay, look at this. So that hole here is permeable. Oh, beautiful.
There were a few flea beetles.
Huh?
And there are, it is, with the pests, we try to have a certain symbiosis. This is nature.
Yeah, right. They're everywhere. Come on. If you want to kill the pest, you have to kill everything around. It's not going to be super nice.
And there are, even with pests, there's such a learning opportunity, especially when children come here and they see, they see the bugs eating, and they see they see the bees. And I think it's really important, and where the team feels it's really important to see, this is a space for learning. It's also a space for food security. And some of that learning sometimes comes from dealing with pests in an organic way.
Oh, we have a couple beds that we have a couple extras that we'll probably have those ready for next season. We're also too, we would probably, if the opportunity arose or we had a partner that would like to try one out, then we would be happy to drop one off. So
you still have to put the geotextile in it.
Oh yeah, this is a strange design there. Well, at the end, you can put little pots if you have a missing one, like a corner, and you maybe twice the amount, but yeah, you can use all of it. And that's your trailer that you cannot build here, so you have to have a trailer.
We cannot build here, so we have our trailer is our mobile office, storage yard, or storage space, and it's also our one of our garlic drying.
Hey Joe,
We have
okay?
I think that maybe the piano serves a lot of purposes. Perhaps it sets a tempo for when people are harvesting, but music is extremely therapeutic, and this piano has allowed people the opportunity to listen to music while they're here, whether they're here harvesting, whether they're filling beds, whether they're just here reflecting. So this piano was donated to us by a community member, and we do our best to take care of it. We know that being outside is
the humidity.
but this piano does get played quite a bit, and I don't notice that it's out of tune, but there are those that play it that say it's out of tune. So we have a community member that is learning how to tune a piano so that this piano can be tuned.
Look at that. That's another skill that you don't get in all of the community gardens that you get here. There's a different one. That's amazing.
This piano has been a catalyst in attracting people that do play music. We recently had a yoga and wellness retreat here, and we will be having a second a harvest party here, summer harvest.
Nice. Well, that's the thing about community spaces like this one. Is okay, it's a garden if you see it, but who can say that here cannot have like a pub log or having nice conversation or a little bit of art exploration? It's amazing. Thank you very much for your time, Joe. This is amazing. Like I love to see this happening in every city in Canada, but I just feel amazing that I'm in the city that this is happening. Like, and I live kind of close, and I never been here. Like, we have to tell these stories more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.